Hey dear friends, this is the Reverend Dr. Jerry Maynard, the People's Priest, aka Father Jerry. I am a spiritual renegade and a social revolutionary that works at the intersection of church and society with a ministry of pastoral care and public witness in Houston, Texas. So I started on YouTube, mainly because I had this dream that is in process still, is not yet come to fruition, but God willing it will manifest, of wanting to be a speaker on a TED stage. And I thought, well, in the meantime, before I can make that happen, YouTube is kind of like a TED stage. So I'll just do that. I'll use that as my TED stage. And so I started there. And in 2018, I had this thought that I was working as a full-time community organizer and a faith-based activist. And I had a bunch of friends and colleagues who all came from different faith traditions, but for a variety of reasons, we all felt outcasted and neglected or abandoned by our traditions. And we met a lot on Zoom. And I thought, well, why don't we gather together regularly and create ritual together on Zoom, since we're already using it a lot, and a lot of us are from all different parts of the country. So I founded a church that was completely on Zoom, online, called the People's Church. It was interfaith, and it was specifically rooted in sacred activism. How do we build a community of faith that has as its foundational belief of sacred activism, that we show up in the world creating social change because our spirituality and faith call us to do that. And I had that for about a year, and then for a variety of reasons, it kind of dissipated. And then the pandemic happened. But in between that little time period, the People's Church affiliated with an organization called Creation Spirituality Communities, which I was on the board of. And so they were acting as our fiscal sponsor and as our denominational affiliation. But when COVID hit, I was on the board, and I was the only one who had a lot of experience with Zoom and online platforms. So they asked me to assist them in creating an online worship experience that was interfaith. And they also asked me to assist them with understanding how to navigate the online world, particularly around justice work, but also from a variety of different faith traditions. And then it has just gone on from there. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I have two shows. One is called Monday Musings. It's a weekly show that started originally as an audio-only podcast, but then eventually merged into a video cast on YouTube, where I teach practical spirituality, everyday spirituality for the average common person who may or may not have ever stepped foot in a house of worship. And I also have a show called Artisans of the Horizon, where I took my community organizing activist friends who are all doing change work in the world from a variety of perspectives, and I got them on Zoom and I proposed this question to them. What is the world going to be like beyond the horizon that's right under our nose? And let them answer the question organically with very little facilitation, just allowing spirit to guide it. And I got such diverse answers from it that I think now we are starting to see actually that world come to be. A world where body positivity and sex positivity are becoming the norm. More people are becoming aware of those things. More people are becoming aware of accessibility and how not everybody has access to the same places, same people, or even to the internet, which is something we discovered during COVID, that the internet was not actually free and open to everybody. And so I was able to curate and center a lot of these spaces and put people that I knew who were having conversations and actively doing this work into these spaces as a shepherd, as a guide, as a spiritual companion. I'm a Two-Spirit native person. My people are the Nahuatl Mexica people from northern and central Mexico, and we have a variety of different traditions and spiritual ideas, and one of those is that we are related to all people, and therefore our cosmic story is not complete without every other person and with all of creation. So we are constantly in conversation with one another. This is a cosmic web of storytelling that we are constantly weaving in and out together. And as a two-spirit person, it's my role specifically to walk in between worlds, in between the world of the masculine and the feminine, the creative and the destructive, as well as the spiritual and the earthly realms. And I hold these four realities together and walk those spaces as a way of helping to bring balance where there is imbalance. And to remind people not to take things too seriously if they become too serious, because life is short. And our ultimate purpose here is to be a good guest, a good relative, until Creator calls us home. And also, there are times where we need to take certain things seriously, like the caring of our great mother, Mother Earth, or one of our other various relatives who are not always present in our rooms. And so I do this work as an extension of that identity as a two-spirit person who walks through these different realms. That's why I often say I work in intersections. I don't spend a lot of time in one place. I spend most of my time in between, crossing those borders and those boundaries, pulling people over to where they need to be, as well as rescuing people who have been abandoned or neglected. And I think it's hard work, but it's a beautiful story and a beautiful job, and I'm happy to be able to do it. I would love an app specifically for elders. Elders, in the teaching of the medicine world, elders are associated with the direction of the north, because the north is the direction of winter, of snowfall. And so during winter, we spend a lot of time indoors with elders, sitting and hearing stories. And elders have a very specific sacred medicine that they carry with their life, with their being, which is longevity. They have the ability to sit down and to be able to look at you and tell you, it's okay, baby. It'll be fine. In the long run, everything will work out. Trust me. Take a breath. And also, because they have that ability to have a long view of life, they can also tell you, this is something you need to pay attention to. This is going to be the next chapter. Tap into that. And so I think we need to have sacred spaces that are dedicated to elders, particularly because I think there is a crisis of elderhood in our society. We are losing elders and the wisdom that elders have because they have been encouraged to retire and expire instead of being refired and beginning to take that mantle of wisdom keeper and share that wisdom and pass it on so that we don't have so much anxiety in our world. I think if we had elders who were regularly available for us to share that sacred medicine, anxiety would not be such a high, rampant phenomenon in our culture right now. I wish I was able to really get more people to share the actual things that they believe in the secret of their heart, the secret place of their heart. Because I think there's a lot of people who hold very sacred, very powerful healing medicine in their heart that they don't share with the world because they're afraid, and rightfully so, that the world will crush it and destroy it. I just think there are so many dreams that people are having right now. That spirit is trying to say, pay attention, wake up, share this. This is the time. This is the moment. And there are a lot of prayers that people have prayed that other people are meant to answer, but they're not coming to pass because those people are not stepping forward to answer them. So I wish I could be more of a resource to encourage people to share those sacred, secret prayers that they hold in their heart. I really hope digital ministry will be one of the tools for the abolition of church. Bishop Yvette Funder talks a lot about how we need to move from being a monument to returning back to being a movement. And I think that's absolutely true. I also think that part of that is the abolition of church and what we believe church is. Maybe that means we need to be a lot more simpler. Maybe that means that we need to have different types of conversations. And I think digital ministry can be a tool for that. And I think it also is already doing that in a lot of ways. But I think we need to be more explicit about naming this particular part of the work. I also think digital ministry can and is already challenging us to have to reimagine what it is that we hold as creedal. I think we need to reimagine our creeds, what we believe, our belief system. I also think that we need to be very intentional about digital ministry is the way that we are going to write the next testament of our tradition. Whether that means for us, I don't know. That's still the work that's, we're trying to paint and craft for the horizon. But yeah, I think the abolition of church, I think that's around the corner.